Today, on Be Something Wonderful, I persisted in my assumption until the penny dropped. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big lesson today, big video. This comes from a session from a client that I hadn't heard from in months, probably over a year. And we had a session yesterday, and he went through all these events that happened in his life, really at the time. And he was sort of reminding me that he was in a law firm. He was unhappy. He wasn't getting a lot of recognition. He was an associate. There was no path, or he felt there was no path to partnership. He was going through a messy divorce, and his kids weren't really talking to him. He just felt like nothing was going his way. He felt like the conditions were just too big and too real to overcome. This is sort of the conversation we had. And now he's just sharing with me that he remarried. He goes, "You were right, I did get moved." He goes, "I got moved out of that law firm." He goes, they fired me. He goes, "But that was the gift, right? Because now he's in a smaller firm. He's a partner. Him and his ex are working things out. They're working things out. The kids are feeling happier and better. All of it. And he goes, at the time, he goes, I felt a little bit bad because I felt like I was taking it out on you a little bit. And he goes, I was frustrated. I was angry. I wasn't frustrated or angry with you. He goes, "But you were right. I did get moved." But here's his realization. He said, the last thing you said to me on our last session together, you said, "Persist anyway. Conditions must yield to your assumption. Persist anyway." And I argued for my limitations. I was really arguing with you on this, right? And you said, "Stop trying to believe, just be willing to believe and persist anyway." He goes, "Well, I finally did. I just, I got so sick of those conditions, so sick of myself, that I decided to persist anyway, to see that greater reality." And I called it the greater reality. He goes, "To see my life the way I want to see it." And so now this phone call was different. It's about they're now want to get pregnant. So the whole discussion was around that. But I want to really hit this idea of what he said. I persisted until the penny dropped. In other words, until he believed it, until he felt it within, until he knew that reality must change, right? Sometimes we get to a point where you just surrender it, right? So there was a surrender there for sure to his wish fulfilled. So I want to hit all of this today and more. Remember this comment: they feel too big and too real. This is what he said back at that session. This is what he reminded me is what he said. So remember, look at the world from your assumption, right? You're never looking at reality, you're looking as reality. This is really what happened with him, right? He kept looking through those old assumptions. He kept looking at those conditions through the assumptions that he's not happy in the law firm. His life is unraveling. His married life is unraveling. His kids aren't talking to him. He's looking at that. Those conditions look overwhelming, but remember, you're looking as those conditions, right? Knowing what you want, close your eyes and enter into fulfillment. This is Neville Goddard, right? This is the message, right? Close your eyes and enter in fulfillment. In other words, go within and enter in fulfillment. See your life from that assumption. Persist in your assumption until the penny drops, right? There's no out there. So it's all you and it's all there. And I think one of you mentioned on the channel that Tom, you're always talking about that God is within you. He goes, but I've seen that greater light, and it's not. And I saw it on the outside of me. But that's all you. You are that greater light. That light is greater for sure. I and the Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. But you're not seeing on the outside. There's nothing outside of you, I promise you, right? So persistence, remember, this. So what was interesting about this follow-up is he made a decision. He made a decision to surrender to his wish fulfilled. He made a decision to not sulk in those conditions anymore, right? And that's what persistence is. Persistence is a decision from deep within to see the greater reality behind all appearances. He goes, it's just, I got to a point that I had no choice but to choose to see reality from that to see my assumption, to see that greater reality. This is the discussion we had yesterday. Do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment. I made this point a few days ago, that it's not about denying the 3D conditions. It's not about running away from them or any of that, or even ignoring them. It's about looking at them but seeing the greater reality, looking at them but persisting in your assumption, looking at them but seeing your wish, seeing what you want, right? Not judging them by their appearance, right? Beyond linear time and space, cause equals effect. And this is what you're seeing. Yes, those conditions don't immediately reflect it, but cause equals effect. Those conditions are changing as you're looking, as you're persisting, right? God, I am awareness, is consciousness, is seeing what you are seeing and hearing what you are saying, right? Neville Goddard makes this point, right? God, that I am awareness, that God consciousness is seeing what you are seeing and hearing what you are saying. It is all you, right? And even in Scripture, they point to that. In Isaiah, before they call, I will answer, and while they are still speaking, I will hear. That's what Scripture meant. Whatever the 3D conditions, whatever the 3D world conditions, know they are, whatever they are, comma. Sometimes there we go, pause. Whatever those conditions are. Just like my client thought that they're too big, they're too real, right? No, they are already changing as you look and perceive them. They're already changing from whatever assumption you persist in, from whatever assumption you're seeing them through. Be greater than the conditions instead of seeing yourself subject to them. This is really what he just felt, those conditions were greater than him, right? That they're overwhelming. Remember, those conditions are within you, right? They're not outside of you. Nothing is. There's nothing out there. You're greater than those conditions. The conceiver is always greater than the conceptions. Always. The perceiver is always greater than the perceptions. Right? You're one with them, but you're greater than them. This is the message of Scripture as well, right? The conceiver and its conceptions are one for sure, but the conceiver is always and forever greater than its conception. The perceiver is always greater than its perceptions. I and the Father are one. I am, right? That's what that implies there. And the Father are one. This is Jesus' message, right? Jesus is saying this. Jesus represents your I am. It represents your awareness, your I am awareness, that God consciousness within you, right? I and the Father are one. That's very clear. But my Father is greater than I. That Father, that greater consciousness, that greater light that this person on the channel said that he felt and saw is greater than you. It's greater than the 3D you. But you are one with it. You're not separate from it. That's the promise. It's not greater than me. It's greater than I. In other words, greater than I am. Greater than the I am. Do you hear this? This is powerful, right? You have or you feel fear, lack, and doubt, just like my client, when you believe your desires in the world is greater than you. Wow, hear this. Pause there. Because this is really what we got at with him. And this is the same idea that we're using when we're talking about them getting pregnant. Remember, when you have fear, lack, and doubt, when you believe that your desires in the world is greater than you, it's not, right? That subconscious is not running the show, right? You believe that subconscious, that greater subconscious, that Father is running the show. It's not you're running the show. You get to consciously choose. Yes, there's influence there. But remember, the subconscious can't do anything without your permission, without your conscious permission, right? And you're giving it permission, right? You're giving it permission by not consciously persisting in your wish fulfilled, right? So there's bigger videos where we unpack this idea of programming and being subject to the subconscious. I don't want to really get into that discussion here or debate that. Jesus, your I am. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Right? This is what Jesus was saying in that same passage. He goes, and he says, I'm going to the Father. That's why you don't have to be troubled. You don't have to be afraid, right? Your heart is that greater subconscious, that greater knowing. You don't have to be, because you're going to the Father. You're one with the Father, right? You're one with it. It's greater than you, but you're going to the Father. You're going within. You're persisting in that assumption no matter what. You're persisting until the penny drops, right? You're seeing that greater reality. Close your eyes and enter its fulfillment. I love this, what Neville says. Enter its fulfillment. Where we stand on the fringes of fulfillment and wonder why we're not fulfilled. We keep looking at those conditions as bigger than us and wondering why we're not fulfilled. That's why. Close your eyes and enter the fulfillment, either a state akin to sleep or an alpha state. They're both powerful. Do that before you go to bed. Do an alpha state whenever you want. Right? It's total relaxation into that state. Be still and know I am God. Persist in that knowing despite appearances. Judge all appearances righteously. In other words, see your assumption, your wish fulfilled, in greater reality through them, behind all appearances. As you turn towards God, God turns towards you. He comes running to you. This is what my client found. This is why the penny finally dropped. He got it. He understood it. It clicked. It lit up, right? I just persisted in my assumption until the penny dropped. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being a part of the channel. Thank you for subscribing and liking the videos. Thank you for joining the membership channel. Thank you for just being with me. Thank you for attending the live streams. We have another live stream for the public channel this Sunday, February 5th, 2023. And if you're sending questions for the live streams that I'm going to be doing for the membership channel or the public channel, make a note if it's specifically for the membership channel, just make a note of that. But I'm going to hit it and I'm going to discuss it, because anything we discuss in the public channel, you're going to see anyway. So guys, also we have a Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors. You can find us there at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, where you can share insight and guidance with others and also ask for insight and guidance. You can join us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, or just go to our website anytime for all that information and more at tomkearin.com or besomethingwonderful.com. Another video coming out later for the membership channel. Members, get ready. It's going to be big, as always. Until next time, with great love and great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom. See you soon.